Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses, and today we are here with the new MGB adventure bike. So let's roll the intro and get cracking. Well, as you know, for the past 5 weeks I have not been able to bring you any proper bike reviews because of my little injury to my leg when I came off my KTM in Thetford Woods. However, things are on the mend. So today we are back with this, the long-awaited MGB Atx-T 125. Let's have some cinematics. Now, before we get into the specs, let's go straight in with the looks of this bike. I would like to apologise in advance for my weird stances in this video, but I can't really bend down still because it's still putting a bit too much pressure on my ankle, which looks like it's got a couple of tennis balls on the side of it. But anyway, back to this. I personally would describe this as MGB's 125 answer to the utilitarian Royal Enfield Himalayan. It's quite rugged and brutish and a no frills off-roader with plastic aplenty to keep the weight down, of course. The upper mudguard does look usably chunky, if a bit plasticky, but it does have the more practical mudguard down here anyway. And the same could be said for the wind deflector. Again, it's a bit flexible, it doesn't squeak. And you know, it does the job. It seems thick enough. The hand guards have got the built-in indicators, but again, a bit flexible. Now, again, that could be seen as a good thing and a bad thing. Bad because it might vibrate and do that as you're riding along, but we'll find out later. However, if it goes down, it's not likely to snap off because it's quite bendy. I can't help thinking, though, that maybe a metal bracket bolting onto here like they have on the Zontis might be slightly better. But other than that, they seem sturdy enough. So yeah, not a bad feature that. You also get an engine guard under there as well, so that is quite nice. I like that. Just in case, I mean obviously it's not going to stop rocks flicking up because it's you know, see-through. But any large rocks that you jut against when you're utilitarianising yourself across the Himalayas, it's ideal. It's a nice feature anyway. It's better to have it than not have it. Overall, as far as looks are concerned, I think it actually looks quite a nice bike. It's certainly sizable and it feels okay, you know. I mean, these plastics are okay. Nothing is flimsy and flexible here. It just feels a little bit, I don't want to use the word cheap, but possibly on the cheaper side. However, when you hear the price and look at what you actually get for that price, I don't think you'll be too disappointed. There is one thing that I really don't like, and that is the afterthought that is the USB. It looks like it's just something that's been shoved on and someone's bought as an eBay extra. Yes, it's a USB. I think it could have been mounted somewhere else perhaps. I don't know where, to be fair, but I think it could be mounted somewhere else. And it's just this bracket. It looks like it's been made out of the leftovers of a real bracket. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't look like that's going to last very long at all. That should snap off quite easily, I would say. Other than that, I don't really have anything negative to say about the looks and the quality at this stage. Of course, when we get out on the road, we shall see how it fares. Now, it's going to be Jamie that takes it out on the road today because I'm not quite ready to use clutch and have the confidence to put my foot down if I need to support myself on the left-hand side. So Jamie's going to be taking it out today. And with a bit of luck, he'll say more than, yeah, it's all right. So we'll see when he takes it out later. He should report on whether there's any buzziness, any vibes, how everything feels, whether anything vibrates like the mirrors as it's riding along. Obviously, the comfortability of the bike, how those tyres perform, how the engine performs. So we'll find that out in a short while. But before that, let's get on to the specs. The engine is an air and oil cooled 4-stroke single cylinder Euro 5 fuel injected 125, developing at 12.1 brake horsepower and 7 pounds-foot of torque. It's got a 5-speed gearbox, so I'm expecting at least 60 miles an hour. Anything above that I think is going to be a bonus, to be honest. It uses 41mm upside down forks on the front and a monoshock on the back. Brakes are 260mm front disc with a triple piston CBS caliper, which is the combined brake system, what you find on everything these days, with a double piston rear caliper using a 220mm rear disc. And what I do like is you get the braided hoses that are insulated in this plastic and then behind this plastic. Tyres are dual-purpose Kenda tyres. You get a 90 by 19 on the front and a 110 by 17 on the back, and they are wrapped rather nicely around these lovely spoked wheels. However, they're not stainless steel spokes. Mind you, as an addition to that, where the spokes are not stainless, these end caps where the water seems to gather do seem to be, because they are not magnetic, so they do seem to be, and that is the most important part, really. Just keep these clean. The tank is a good size, having a capacity of 15 litres, and it does say can use E5 and E10, but like I've said on everything else, I would never put E10 in a bike because I don't think it runs very well. And also, figures have shown that the fuel economy is worse on E10 than it is on E5, so it's false economy. You may be spending maybe a couple of pounds more on a tank of E5, but it'll last longer, so it's either the same value or probably better, and it's certainly better for the bike, the plastics, the gaskets, the rubbers and everything else it uses. I like that you get an analog dash. It's quite basic with no LCD. There's nothing really to go wrong, which is quite handy. So it's all pretty simple and utilitarian. You turn that on, nothing does all the fancy flowy stuff, but you do get a gear indicator. Let's see if that works nicely as we're riding along. In fact, I'm going to try it now. Now this could be silly for me with my leg or my ankle, but we'll see. Now to start it, again, very simple, because it's only got a side stand, it doesn't have a centre stand. You can start it without the clutch and with the side stand down, which is handy. Let's see if that goes into gear, shall we? Yes, it does! And it cuts the bike out as it should. None of that nonsense where you've got to have the side stand up in neutral. Brilliant, that's good. So let's see if I can get on this for starters. All right, not too much pressure. That was a mistake. Ah, the things I do. So, yes. Now, comfortability-wise, the first time I've sat on this bike, to be fair, it's the first time I could get on it. It actually feels quite comfortable. The seat is quite soft. The suspension is definitely soft, which again, Jamie will report later as to how that feels when he's out on the road. Other than that, dimensions-wise, all very normal. 2.1 metres long, 860 millimetres wide, 1.3 metres tall, and the seat height is 850. Now, I am 5'10.5" with a 31.5-inch inside leg. I am flat-footed, slight bend in my knee, and it's quite comfortable. I can feel maybe it's a little bit harder on the inside here, but obviously once you've got your feet up, that's all right. You don't really feel it. Your knees sit nicely in the groove here. Jamie is 6 foot, so it'll be interesting to see how he looks on it and how he feels on it as well. Lights are LED, very BMW-esque, sort of motor marine-y as well at the front there. Quite like that. Let's see what it's like. LED, very bright. I like that. Main beam, yeah. Like most LED lights, you've got a little letterbox on the front there. Indicators are nice. Telltale lights, very easy to see. It's very 80s, I would say, on the dash. Very simple, but very clean and very clear. You've got blue showing where the rev main bits are, and then in the red line, it's red. So it works. I like that. Hazard flashes as well on here. Yeah, it feels okay. Flash, flash, flash. Flash, flash, flash. Nice. Brake lights. Yeah, you can see them on the wall there, can you? Yeah, nice and bright. Lovely. Good visibility out of the mirrors. Yeah, I can see, as I'm sitting here obviously, I can see probably 85% behind me. That's not bad at all. Feels very comfortable actually. Not bad at all. It also sounds quite raspy. I think you can hear it hopefully on this microphone here. Bearing in mind we are inside, but it actually sounds okay. Doesn't sound too farty like a lot of 125s. Actually sounds all right. Okay. Now this is a good test for me. Everyone's been telling me, because it's only been 5 weeks or so, 5.5 weeks I think, that I shouldn't be getting on a bike yet. But there's a bike run coming up this Sunday, and it'd be nice to go on my MV Augusta. 1, to hear my new exhausts, and 2, because it's only 168 kilos, so it's the lightest bike. I'd love to take my son, but that means going on my big Triumph, and that's 270 kilos, and I don't know if I should risk it on that. Again, getting off, we'll see. Oh, it's a lot of pressure to put on. I'm going to get off this side. Otherwise, I'm putting too much pressure on my left foot there. I don't recommend falling off your bike. Oh, ta-da! Easy. Now, I do really like these panniers. Yes, they're plastic, which means they're light, but they are pretty sturdy. Now, you've got 2 little buttons push in there, and they come out. So it doesn't, you've got this opening here, which is nice. You can put actually stuff in it, so it's not the whole lot opens. My Triumph ones are a nightmare because the whole lot opens. So the bit that is laying down, like the left-hand side, if you've got it on the side stand, you've got to put it in here and then quickly close it, otherwise it'll fall out. Here, that's actually a really good size, and they're pretty good quality, and they seem nicely waterproof. You've got the seams around here, quite nice. We did lay some water on it and it didn't leak, so I quite like them. They're a nice addition. However, what I think is weird is they say the top box is extra. Now the problem with that is that it doesn't look anything like these. It looks like the usual sort of oval, roundish top box, generic top box that you can get for any bike. And that just looks a bit odd. Now, I would have thought it would at least come with a box on the back, or at least the box that you can get extra, make it exactly the same style. I find that a bit strange, to be honest, especially when they've gone to the effort of these, which is a really nice addition. And I like that you get the racks and the boxes included in the price, which obviously we'll talk about at the end. So then let's get the Jamie out, get him on the bike and get him out on the road and see what it rides like. And then we'll talk to you about the colour options and the price and the warranty.
Feels quite nice to throw around. It's not too quick, not too slow. 5,500 revs, 40 mile an hour. It's not as vibey as I expected it to be, which is good. Changing down the gears, pretty smooth. The acceleration on it's quite linear. There's no urgency in the acceleration, but it's perfectly adequate. See nicely out of my mirrors, which is good. Definitely smooth on the lower end of the rev range. It's comfy, the seat's nice and soft. Anything looking at it, I mean, I'm doing 40 mile an hour, 5,750 RPM. Might be a little low geared for some motorway miles, but we shall see. It sits nicely, it's not jerking around, it's smooth. A little bit breezy out here today. Not pushing me back or anything. Brakes are nice. Yeah, I mean, transitions fairly smooth. Not as bad as I was expecting, to be honest. Wasn't too keen on the looks of it myself, but each into their own. It seems to ride okay. It's a little bit flat on the acceleration, like I say, very smooth and linear. I must admit, it is comfy though. About the right height for the bars for me. Suspension's nice and supple, so it gives you a nice feel. Yeah, I mean, ride-wise, it's doing exactly really what you need it to do. I mean, get you there and back. It's not going to set the world on fire, but it is a 125. The screen also is helping a little bit, just keeping the wind off my shoulders. Just putting the wind a little bit to my helmet, but off my shoulders and my chest, which is good. Smooth, it's comfortable. Everything works as it should. Nothing in the ride feels nasty. mean, maybe it could have a little bit more get up and go in it, but one thing I like about it is it's not very vibey. A lot of these type of bikes can be a little bit vibey, especially with a single cylinder, but it seems okay. There may be a little bit more power in the higher in the rev range, but as you can see, the poor bike's only done a few miles and don't really want to kill it just yet. I mean, I think this is what you'll find it'll be nice for country lanes, bit of picnic and some food in the back to enjoy the countryside, pick a spot to stop at, plenty of space in the boxes.
So, as a sum up, first of all, what do you think of the comfortability of the bike?
Actually, it was a nice soft seat, nice soft suspension. Actually, it was more comfortable than what I thought it would be, to be honest.
Brakes, were they sufficient, do you think?
Yeah, they were nice and smooth. There was no sort of feel of on and off juddering or anything.
Okay.
They seemed to work really well.
What about the throttle response?
Throttle response is good. However, it's just lacking a little bit of power. So the power delivery is very linear, so there's no sense of urgency, if that makes sense.
Is that something you think will come once the engine's run in better, or?
Yeah, it might free off a little bit. Obviously, I rid it as basically brand new. It's it got 0 miles on pretty much, so it'll get a little bit looser. However, it's never going to get that sort of bit where it comes into a certain rev and then pulls a little bit harder. It's just it's very linear throughout the rev range. So
you're saying the gears are a bit short as well?
Yes, I mean I took it to 55-ish, and that was about 500 RPM below the red line,
which is 7,000.
Sorry, red line's 8,000.
Oh, 8,000.
Yeah,
8,000,
so
right.
I reckon that'll be topping out at 60. Hitting the red line.
So at 55, 56 mile an hour, you're doing 7,500 RPM?
Yeah.
Okay, and it red lines at 8?
Yeah.
Does it sound like it's going, ooh?
No, and also the dash itself is quite slow to respond. So when you accelerate on the throttle, it takes a little bit further. The rev counter's just slow to react, if you know what I mean. And the same with the speedo as well. It's not instant, so you drop down and brakes really hard, it drops down real quick, it'll just slowly come. Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
When you're accelerating, it sounds like the revs are quite low, but you look at the dash and it looks quite high.
Okay, now one of the things I was concerned about with the plastics and the flexibility of them is whether you get any buzziness or any vibe or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned that on the video. I was surprised actually that it doesn't vibe that much. Obviously, when you get the revs over 6,500, you're getting up towards your sort of top high end of the revs. Yes, you can hear a few little bits of vibration. Hear a few, not feel a few.
Okay,
so
all right, that's good.
There's just a couple of bits of plastic maybe that are just vibing at that particular resonance. But
what would you say about the? Do you get any vibration in the mirrors?
No, the mirrors actually you can see quite well.
What about you can see? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. But when I sat on it in there, I said about 85% visibility with a little bit of arm in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what bike, you're going to get a bit of arm in. However, they're high enough and wide enough to see quite a wide view behind you. Which
how did it feel weight-wise, especially with the boxes on?
Didn't feel heavy or anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Transition from left to right was quite smooth and that. It read a lot better than I was expecting it to, not being funny.
Okay, all right, no, that's good. I mean, looking at it, it looks quite well built. You know, I like the sturdiness of this brake lever. The welds are okay. You know, they're a little bit splatty here and there, but it is a budget end bike, and for I think what you get equipment-wise, it's not expensive.
Yeah, I mean the pannier boxes are quite large, which is good.
Yeah.
You know, yes, it may hinder you a little bit in tight filtering through traffic. However,
yeah, as long as you're mindful and you know that you're not going to squeeze through a tiny little gap that you.
They're not much wider than the bars, so as long as you take that into account, then you're okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The rear rack it comes with.
Forklift racing.
The rear rack comes with a rack. Let's just start again, shall I? You'll cut that bit out, I presume.
It sounded like he was racing that one. No, not like that. Not like that.
Yeah, I mean the tubular luggage rack that you get with it. I was just waiting for him to finish there.
This is what we get.
See far away.
And carry on.
Okay. So the tubular luggage rack is quite good that comes with it because you can put any universal box on that.
The only thing I didn't quite like actually, which I think I mentioned, I know I mentioned before, is that you get these with it. There is extra, you pay extra, you can get a top box, but it's like the round oval generic top box.
Yeah.
It's not in keeping with the style of these.
I can see, in a way, why they sold it just with panniers and not a top box.
Okay.
Panniers are pretty generic, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You don't really get that many options of different size panniers as such. So, but a top box, some people only want a small one to put one helmet in. Some people like a large one to fit two helmets in.
Okay.
So, for instance, not be funny, against the Sinus, sold with the two boxes and the little top box on the
Pointless,
top.
yes.
You can't get nothing in it.
It's a lunch box, is all it is.
Yes, you're paying for that top box, but it's useless.
And it's £85 if you want the 48 litre one.
Yeah.
If you can get them.
So selling it with decent sized panniers and the option to put your own top box on, I think is a good thing.
No, fair point, fair point. Okay. Quality-wise, switches, easy to use?
Yeah, I mean, they're quite, how can you say it?
They're quite generic, I think.
They've got a positive feel. So how about that? It's on, off.
Okay, so it's not a soft.
It's not a soft, yeah, it's quite,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But other than that, they worked really well.
Yeah.
Nothing feels loose or...
The only thing I felt, I think, was the start button's a little bit flicky.
The kill switch underneath here is a bit cheap.
Yeah. I think maybe they could have gone with a better start button.
But I'd rather them, not being funny, go cheap on a switch than cheap on a set of forks, a set of, you know. The actual bike itself rides nice. A couple of little things like these, they're a little bit flimsy, but they're only flimsy when you grab hold of them. Wind deflection, it's not a problem.
Brilliant, that's the main thing. How do the tyres feel?
Yeah, they felt all right,
okay,
to be honest.
So, but bearing in mind the price of the bike, which we'll mention at the end of the video, you know the price, do you think it's worth the money?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it rides really nice. So if you want a bike that rides really nice, great. Some of the finishes, like the switches, could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But however, you're going to end up putting more money onto it.
I mean, that's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, for everything you get with it as a standard bike, I think if you start adding those little bits, you're then putting £300-400 quid on top of the bike.
And not being funny, these are only like little bits. Oh, look how nice my switch gear looks. No one cares really much about that. Does it work? Is it reliable? And that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Especially on a cheap bike, you're buying a cheap bike to get you there and back, and you want it to be reliable. You don't need it to look flash.
No, fantastic. Okay, so it's onto the colours and the price. So the bike is available in 4 different colours. You've got black with black, orange with black, blue with black, or red with black. And there you go. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, the price is the best part. It is 3049 on the road with that warranty, and that is if you want the model with the panniers. It's slightly cheaper if you don't want the panniers, like this one here, without the pannier racks and without the panniers. You would get it, obviously this one comes with panniers, but imagine it without the racks. You would get it for $2,749 on the road. Now this one at $3,049 on the road I think is the best value, because you get the racks and those panniers, and I think it's well worth the extra for those. Now it is £250 cheaper than the Sinus Terrain. However, I understand it is £400 more than the Herald Mirage 125, but that does only have a 9.5 horsepower engine, a bit feeble, and it doesn't come with any panniers. So there you go. I think it is definitely very good value for money. And please let me know in the comment section below what you think. Do you have one already? Do you have one on order? Do you want one? If you do, pop along to Lightning Storm Motorcycles, www.lsmoto.co.uk, and have a look, see what you think. If you want to come and have a look at one, we've got these two here right now. And that's all I have to say, really. So thank you very much for joining me. Next week, I'm hoping to be with the MASH X-Ride 125. So stay tuned for that. And I might even get to ride it. Who knows? Let's find out then. So until next time, please ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye-bye.